Siren Head, cartoon cat, bridge worm, long horse, smile room, upside down face, big Charlie, country road creature. Why does Trevor Henderson's most famous creature stand 40 feet tall with sirens for a head when most internet horror relies on jump scares and gore? The answer sits in 8 designs that prioritize silhouette over detail, each one built on a single, unsettling idea stretched to its breaking point. Henderson posted Siren Head to Twitter in 2018 with no caption, just an image of rust-red metal limbs against a gray sky. That image has been viewed 23 million times. The silence around the sirens matters more than the screaming. Siren Head, a humanoid figure standing between 38 and 42 feet tall, depending on the image, with a skeletal frame constructed from corroded metal pipes and dual air raid sirens replacing the head. Henderson's original post from June 2018 shows it standing motionless in a forest clearing, camouflaged against dead trees. The creature mimics emergency broadcasts, voices of missing persons, and decades-old radio shows to lure victims within striking range. One description Henderson provided notes that Siren Head predates modern technology. The sirens are biological growths that resemble metal, not actual mechanical devices. This implies the creature evolved to mimic human warning systems, which means it has been hunting humans long enough to adapt. The design exploits scale and decay. Most creatures are human-sized or smaller to facilitate attack. Siren Head is building tall, visible from miles away, and that visibility is the trap. You see it on the horizon and think you have time to escape. You do not. Henderson's progression images show it crossing a half-mile in under 3 minutes, stride length 20 feet, moving with a stilted gait that looks slow until you calculate the distance covered. Critics argue Siren Head is overexposed, too mainstream to be scary anymore. But familiarity with the design does not erase the core question. Why does something that large need to trick you with sound? It could simply chase and catch. The mimicry suggests intelligence, patience, and cruelty. Compared to Slenderman's blank face, Siren Head has a voice, and voices imply personhood, and personhood from something that corroded makes the horror worse. The sirens are not a warning. They are a lure disguised as a warning, and every instinct to run toward the sound of help pulls you closer to the thing wearing help as a mask. Cartoon cat. A feline figure 9 to 15 feet tall with glossy black fur, a fixed white grin stretching ear to ear, and pie-cut eyes that never blink. Henderson's January 2019 post describes it standing in an abandoned mall, body proportions warping between frames like a rubber hose animation glitch. The creature exists in a permanent tune logic state. Limbs stretch, torso compresses, spine bends at 90 degrees without breaking. This makes predicting its reach impossible. One artwork shows it compressed into a storage locker, grin visible through the vent slats. Another shows it elongated across a ceiling, body 20 feet long, still grinning. Henderson noted in a reply thread that Cartoon Cat is the most dangerous creature in his universe, surpassing Siren Head in lethality. The reason is adaptability. Siren Head hunts in open spaces. Cartoon Cat hunts anywhere, indoors, underground, in vehicles, inside walls. The tune logic is not whimsy. It is a hunting adaptation that removes spatial constraints. A human cannot hide in a space smaller than their body. Cartoon Cat can compress into a shoebox. The grin is the signature element, a permanent expression that reads as friendly until context makes it a threat. Henderson's design plays on early animation's uncanny valley. Characters like Felix the Cat or early Mickey Mouse had exaggerated features that looked cheerful in motion, but unsettling when frozen. Cartoon Cat is always frozen, stuck in a single frame, grinning at nothing. One caption Henderson provided mentions, "It leaves no bodies, only stains." This implies digestion or absorption rather than killing for territory. The creature is not defending space, it is feeding, and the tune aesthetic makes people hesitate that crucial 2 seconds before running. You see a cartoon and think prop or costume, and by the time your brain catches up to the wrongness, it is close enough to reach. Compared to other Henderson creatures that rely on size or environment, Cartoon Cat relies on cognitive dissonance. It should not be real. and the moment you accept it is real, you are already caught. Bridge worm, a pale, segmented organism living beneath rural bridges, ranging from 60 to 200 feet in length, depending on the bridge span. Henderson's May 2019 artwork shows a false human face at the terminus of a fleshy stalk. Skin texture smooth like an earthworm, expression neutral. The face is a lure. Victims who investigate the person under the bridge are grabbed by the worm's true mouth, a radial jaw hidden in the segment behind the false face. Henderson's description notes that the creature waits motionless for days, the false face mimicking distress or unconsciousness until someone climbs down to help. The mechanics are pure ambush predation. Bridges create choke points and narrow paths with limited sight lines and vertical drops on both sides. The bridge worm uses architecture as part of its hunting ground. One image shows it coiled around bridge supports, body blending with concrete and shadow, only the face visible in a gap. The false face is the evolutionary stroke of genius. Most predators look like predators. The bridge worm looks like a victim, and human empathy is a stronger behavioral driver than fear. You will cross a bridge to avoid something scary. You will go under a bridge to help someone in trouble. The creature weaponizes compassion. Henderson provided measurements in one post. A 15-foot segment can generate enough pressure to crack a human rib cage in under 2 seconds. The worm does not inject venom or rely on infection. It crushes and consumes. Compared to aquatic predators like sharks, which are visible in open water, the bridge worm has permanent concealment. It is the bridge. Critics suggest the false face would not fool people in daylight. But Henderson's images always show twilight or overcast conditions, low contrast, and faces under bridges naturally look shadowed. The face does not have to be perfect. It just has to be close enough to make you hesitate, and hesitation under a bridge with a 200-foot worm is lethal. The false face is not mimicry. It is bait wrapped in the shape of the thing you want to save. Long horse, a skeletal equine skull atop a neck that extends indefinitely. Vertebrae stacking without visible end, bone texture aged ivory. Henderson's July 2018 post shows it peering through a second-story window, skull gentle and calm, neck descending out of frame. This is Henderson's only benevolent creature. Long horse appears before disasters, its presence a warning rather than a threat. One caption describes a family who saw it outside their home 3 hours before a gas leak. They evacuated. The house exploded. Long horse was gone. The design subverts Henderson's usual formula. Most of his creatures are predators or environmental hazards. Long horse is a sentinel, and that role makes it more unsettling because it confirms the universe contains things worse than itself. If Long horse is trying to warn you, what is it warning you about? Henderson noted in a Q&A that Long horse cannot speak and may not fully understand human behavior. It simply appears near danger, an instinct without context. The neck's infinite length is the key visual. It can reach any floor of any building, peer into any window, manifest in any space with vertical clearance, but it never enters. It only watches. One artwork shows it extending from a storm drain, skull at street level, neck descending into darkness that has no bottom. The mechanics suggest Long horse is not bound by normal spatial rules. It does not travel, it extends. Critics argue a benevolent creature undermines horror, but Long horse's warnings are almost always too late or too vague to act on. You see the skull, you feel dread. 6 hours later, the bridge collapses or the tornado hits, and you realize the skull was not a threat, it was an obituary. Compared to Henderson's predatory creatures, Long horse kills no one, but its presence means someone is about to die. The skull is not a warning. It is a witness, and knowing you are being witnessed by something that exists outside normal space is worse than being hunted. Long horse does not want to hurt you. It just wants to watch what happens next. Smile room, a doorway in an abandoned building leading to a small room where every surface is covered in human teeth. Henderson's September 2019 image shows a yellowed room, walls textured with molars and incisors embedded in plaster, floor layered with dental fragments, ceiling dripping with enamel stalactites. The room is a space, not a creature, but Henderson classifies it as an entity because it exhibits behavior. People who enter the smile room do not exit. Witnesses outside report hearing laughter that sounds like grinding teeth, but no screams. Henderson's caption suggests the room is digesting visitors, breaking them down into raw material and using that material to grow more teeth. This makes it a biological process disguised as architecture. The horror is the inversion. A mouth is supposed to be inside a face. The smile room is a face turned inside out, the mouth expanded to fill the entire space. One image shows a handprint pressed into the tooth-textured wall, fingers leaving trails in the enamel paste. The print is fresh. The mechanics turn a room into a stomach. Traditional Henderson creatures are mobile threats. The smile room is stationary but no less lethal. It waits for curiosity. Abandoned buildings attract explorers, urbex photographers, thrill seekers. The smile room looks wrong enough to be interesting, not wrong enough to be immediately threatening. Do not glamorize harm. Focus on craft, logic, and psychology. This is environmental design used as a trap. The teeth are not decoration, they are evidence of previous meals, each tooth a marker of someone who walked through the door. Compared to other Henderson spaces like the giant's torso, which is massive and avoidable, the smile room is small and inviting. Doorways promise transition. This doorway promises only digestion, and the smile is not on a face. It is the room itself, grinning with 1,000 stolen teeth, waiting for you to step inside and add yours to the collection. Upside-down face. A human face oriented 180 degrees, features inverted, appearing in windows or doorways at night. Henderson's December 2019 image shows it pressed against glass from the outside, eyes where the mouth should be, mouth where the forehead should be, expression neutral despite the impossibility. The creature is not upside down. You are. That realization is the design's core terror. Henderson provided context in a thread. The upside-down face exists in a spatial orientation perpendicular to normal reality. When it looks at you, it is looking from a direction that does not exist in three-dimensional space. Your brain interprets this as inversion, because inversion is the closest approximation to impossible geometry that human cognition can process. One account Henderson shared describes a person who saw the face in their bathroom mirror, turned around, and saw it again in the window behind them. Same face, same orientation, same distance. The face was not moving. The viewer was rotating through its field of vision, and that rotation felt like falling even though they were standing still. The mechanics exploit vertigo and proprioception. Humans rely on up and down as fundamental constants. The upside-down face suggests those constants are local, not universal, and something exists outside them. Critics argue the inverted face is just a visual trick, but Henderson's images show the face maintaining orientation regardless of viewer angle. If you tilt your head, the face does not correct. It stays inverted relative to you, which means it is not responding to gravity, it is responding to you. Compared to Longhorse's benevolence or Siren Head's aggression, the upside-down face has no clear motive. It appears, it watches, it vanishes. No attacks are documented. No bodies are found. The face is pure presence, and presence without purpose is more unsettling than violence. Violence has logic, presence has implications. The face is watching from a direction you cannot face, and every time you turn, it is still there, still inverted, still neutral, and you cannot stop checking because your brain knows orientation matters, even if you cannot explain why. Big Charlie. A calf-shaped figure, approximately 8 feet tall, body proportions distorted, limbs too long, head too small, standing in open fields at night. Henderson's March 2020 post shows it silhouetted against a farmhouse, posture rigid, facing the camera with unblinking eyes. The name Big Charlie is a rural nickname, suggesting previous sightings, but Henderson provides no backstory. The creature is defined by what it does. It stands and watches for hours. One caption mentions a farmer who saw Big Charlie in his pasture at dusk. The farmer went inside, came back at midnight, and Big Charlie had moved 15 feet closer. Same posture, same stare. The farmer did not sleep. By dawn, Big Charlie was gone. The design uses agricultural uncanny valley. A real calf is 4 feet tall, proportional, non-threatening. Big Charlie is too tall, too still, and its presence in a field implies it ate the real livestock. Henderson's creature design often escalates size, but Big Charlie is only moderately oversized. The horror is behavioral. It does not attack. It approaches, slowly, watching. The implied question is, what happens when it reaches you? And Henderson provides no answer. One analysis suggests Big Charlie is testing boundary response. Farmers who ignore it find it closer each night. Farmers who shoot at it find it in a different field, same distance. The creature is mapping your property, learning your patterns, and exhibiting predatory patience that spans weeks. Compared to Siren Head's active hunting, Big Charlie is passive. It does not chase. It waits for you to make a mistake. Leave a door unlocked. Fall asleep on the porch. Walk to the barn alone at 3 in the morning. The calf shape is the hook. Livestock wander. Livestock are valuable. A farmer's instinct is to corral a lost animal, and Big Charlie looks just lost enough to trigger that instinct, until you get close and realize the proportions are wrong. The eyes do not blink, and it is not running away because it was never lost. It was hunting, and you just walked into a field with an 8-foot predator that knows your schedule. Country road creature. A pale blue humanoid figure approximately 12 feet tall, limbs disproportionately long, hands dragging on asphalt, standing in the center of rural roads at night. Henderson's August 2019 post shows it illuminated by headlights, expression slack, body motionless, despite the approaching vehicle. The creature does not move until you stop or swerve, then it runs. The design weaponizes hesitation and decision paralysis. A driver sees an obstacle in the road. Hitting it risks vehicle damage. Swerving risks losing control. Stopping risks. What? Henderson's images never show the aftermath, only the setup. One caption mentions that drivers who hit the creature report the vehicle passing through it like mist, then seeing it in the rearview mirror running after the car at 40 miles per hour. Drivers who swerve find the creature waiting at the next curve. The mechanics suggest the country road creature is not corporeal in the traditional sense. It is a projection, a test, or a selection mechanism. Roads at night are liminal spaces, between towns, between destinations, between safety points. The creature exploits that in-between state. It appears where you have no backup, no witnesses, no cell signal. One post Henderson shared describes tire marks leading off a rural road into a ravine. The driver was found a quarter-mile away, cause of death undetermined. The country road creature was painted on the asphalt at the skid point in Highway Department yellow. The paint was fresh. Critics suggest the creature is hallucinatory, a fatigue-induced vision. But Henderson's images show it casting shadows and reflecting in puddles, which suggests physical form even if that form behaves non-physically. Compared to urban Henderson creatures that rely on structure, the country road creature uses emptiness. There is nowhere to hide on a straight road, no cover, no detours. The road is one dimension, and the creature controls that dimension. It is not trying to kill you, it is trying to make you swerve, and what waits in the ditch is never shown. The blue glow is not bioluminescence, it is reflection. Headlights bouncing off skin that should not reflect. And by the time you realize the figure in the road is not human, you are already braking, already turning the wheel, already making the choice the creature was waiting for. The 8 creatures form a taxonomy of modern internet horror, each one a single design choice stretched into a self-contained nightmare. Henderson's genius is restraint. He does not explain, does not provide lore, does not build cinematic universes. He posts an image, provides a sentence, and lets the silhouette do the work. Siren Head mimics sound. Cartoon cat mimics cartoons. Bridgeworm mimics victims. Longhorse mimics warnings. The smile room mimics shelter. Upside down face mimics orientation. Big Charlie mimics livestock. Country road creature mimics obstacles. Every creature is a trap disguised as something familiar, and familiarity is the oldest bait in the Predator playbook. Henderson's Halloween parade is not about gore or jump scares. It is about the moment you realize the thing you are looking at should not exist, and it is looking back.